Okay guys, so we don't see this ever at the high level, but some people, to make up for poor braking mechanics is, I'm going to assume, the main reason why this happens. They end up putting their feet on top of your hip to gain a temporary boost in the range of their bridge. But by doing so, they give up their control. So this can be for multiple positions, but yeah, it ends up happening a lot from the outside Ashy or standard Ashy, where instead of keeping the control nice and tight like this, Kevin brings his feet up on top of my hip like this. Now, the reason why they do this is because now the foot is naturally that much higher off the floor, and so he's gained this extra range so that if he bridges from here and I do nothing, it actually will create a ton of force into my ankle, versus say if he was here in an outside Ashy, or even lower by just having his knee down like this. However, this is a really strong position, controlled, locked up pretty tight, still an open circuit, but it's very hard for me to get at stuff. And he's covered a large surface area of my body and hip, making sure that's hard for me to get out. By bringing his feet up like this, he has increased the pounds per square inch in this one area, but it's much easier for me to get off. And so what I'm going to look to do is I'm going to look to check the side of his ankle here with a Y-frame, and I'm going to look to just peel this off the side. I'm actually going to move out the other direction right now temporarily so I can get this off my hip, so I'm going to force him to an outside Ashy. Outside Ashy is not a strong position for finishing ankle locks, so if this is IBJJF rule set, this is going to be fantastic. If we're moving into this position and heel hooks are allowed and knee bars are allowed depending on the level, knee bars are hard to get from this position based on how we're exactly aligned to each other right now, but it's something to be aware of. We're going to enter into some deeper territory. Check this. As Kevin's looking to apply pressure, I'm putting the boot on, and I'm just going to look to check here. I'm not trying to push his foot off of my hip. My arm cannot overpower his leg. But I'm looking to check his leg so it can't move, and I move my hip. By doing this now, my hip is temporarily clear here. My preferred would be to stop him from ever actually getting this control into my hip. So now that I've blocked his leg, as he tries to cinch up the rest of outside Ashy, I drop to my shoulder and I use both my legs here to completely block, once again with the a Y or a V grip against his leg with my thumb, so that if he's trying to control me, he can't. Now that it's off my hip, if I had to, I can move back this direction into this space to alleviate the pressure of the ankle lock. So as I've always talked about, I have the boot on. He starts to bend my leg, extending it, and so I'm going to move my hip to recorrect my ankle into that 90-degree bend, putting the boot back on. From here, I can crowd Kevin much easier. He has no frames here. Even if he cinches up, and whether he's going with this open style of outside Ashy that we like it on the top team, or he's going with more of the close here, creating that wedge right behind the knee, it's not hard for me to crowd him. So we're going to be looking at rear naked choke grips, grabbing at the wrists here, breaking these grips. And I can look to control his head and drive up onto my knee from here. I can look to turn and perform a technical stand-up to get into base set. Now I can load bear this frame so if he tries to apply anything, he can't. Control the elbow, open this up, peel it back, and start moving into the leg drag. We're going to get a lot more into outside Ashy defense when we get to the heel hook modules. But in the meantime, here, feet on the hips. It's very difficult for me to move and put this leg in this way, especially because his toes will probably naturally be going down this direction, curling onto my hip like monkey feet. Going this way, very difficult. Here, check it. It can also be the bicep if you really needed to. Bicep, I might even be able to just peel the foot off this way, but we don't want to rely on that strength. I check it. My elbow is close to my body, and I just move back. From here, turning, closing my knee and elbow, holding his hip, building up in the base. Just go from this side. So here, my elbow's nice and tight. This is weak. This is strong. My whole body is here, just blocking so that he can't follow me. This is in base, and it's going to be like the reverse shrimps that we've been seeing a lot more of, where I'm going to be lifting my hips and pulling myself to the side to clear the foot off of my hip. From here, bring my elbow across, Drop to this side. In base now, my left foot is planted into the mat, so that it's becoming load bearing. And I'm just going to perform a technical stand up here, like this. From here, I can look to either crush my opponent and try and get my knee to the mat so I can protect my leg completely and look to get into leg drags immediately. Or I can look to start standing and passing these ashigarami positions from an upright position, peeling the legs off and extracting my leg completely. So, very strong boost in bridge power, but you'll lose the control here, so don't panic the second your opponent puts their feet on your hips. Keep calm, block the legs so that they can't follow you, move your hips out of the way to immediately relieve yourself of the force.